Hey everyone, this is Adam, back with a new review and a new hairstyle. I just got my hair done recently, so I don't know if it's looking good or bad. You be the judge. So, Mulan is a 2020 American live-action Disney movie based off Disney's 1998 animated movie of the same name. This story is about a girl named Mulan who, in order to help her ailing father, joins the Imperial Army disguised as a man while being dragged into a war against northern invaders. The reason she disguises as a man is because the Chinese emperor passes a decree that every family member must enlist one male member to fight in the war. However, Mulan's father has only two daughters, so he is compelled to enlist himself despite having a bad leg. So Mulan, in order to help her father, takes his place by cross-dressing as a man and enlists in the army to fight on behalf of her family. As you already know, this is a live-action Disney adaptation of the same Disney movie released way back in 1998. So essentially, it's just like Aladdin and Lion King remakes, and Disney thought it would be a good idea to adapt this into live action. I swear, this sort of thing is becoming a trend lately, so here we are with a review for Mulan. For most part, this live-action adaptation is kinda different to the animated one. When I say kinda, I mean the creators did keep the core story intact. It is still essentially a story of Mulan who cross-dresses as a boy to fight in a war. But there are also a lot of things different with this movie. For starters, we don't get to see Mushu, the quick-witted dragon, and also the lucky cricket that appears in the animated movie. If we have watched the trailers, we also get to see Shan Yu, aka Bori Khan, who is the main villain in the animated version, who is also the main villain in this movie. But what is different from that is that you also get to see another villain named Xiang Lang, who happens to be a shape-shifting witch aiding Bori Khan to conquer China. So they took the hawk that Shan Yu had in the animated version and made it into an entirely different villain in this movie. I didn't see the necessity for doing that, but hey, you got to make a movie interesting, right? I mean, you can add a lot of special effects to a shape-shifting villain and make the action scenes look cool. So yeah, I think that's probably what they were hoping for. So did that make the movie any better? Well, yeah, I think it sort of did. Not gonna lie, the fight scenes and the special effects were really cool to look at, but where the movie suffers the most is in its story, its execution and acting. They also changed the core aspect in this movie, wherein they give our lead character a hidden power called Qi. So Qi is a power wielded by men and is rare for a woman to have the power of Qi. So they basically made our heroine a powerful Qi user who can pretty much fight her way out of anything. One of the best aspects of the animated Mulan was that it was an underdog story about a girl who, mind you, is pretty ordinary and she struggles her way up just like everybody else using nothing but her wit and skills. But in this movie's version of Mulan, she is an overpowered Qi user who is hiding her powers until she finally decides to use it. It feels more like a superhero movie in that regard, and it completely undermines what the original animated movie stood for. The animated movie is more relatable in every way, and is probably one of its biggest upsides. I mean, how is anybody going to relate with the story if you cannot relate with the lead character? Look, I respect the creators for doing something different than the original animated version. They did try to make this movie more realistic and more grounded than the animated version, which is why they got rid of Mushu and sort of tailored a few other characters to fit into the newer story plot. Not getting into spoiler territory, but they did make a lot of big changes to some of the side characters in this movie to fit the narrative of the reimagined storyline. I respect that they did not go line by line of the original story, so instead it is doing its own thing. So the story does feel fresh for most part, but the movie struggles to captivate the audience when compared to the animated movie. The remake loses most of its charm that the animated movie had. For starters, Eddie Murphy's character Mushu, the dragon, who is with Mulan throughout the entire movie, added a lot of comic relief and charm that made the animated movie pretty memorable. In this movie, we don't get any of that. The animated movie also had a more compelling and interesting side characters. Hell, even Mulan's horse in the animated version had more character than any of the side characters in this movie. None of the characters in this movie stand out. From Donnie Yen's character as Commander Tang to Jet Li's character as Emperor of China, none of them really stood out, and neither of them had a compelling story or characterization. For most part, it is poor script and story writing. Even the acting is plain and wooden. Most of the actors in this movie, including the lead character, played by Liu Yifei, so lacking in emotion and facial expression that it's just so lackluster for the audience to watch. I for one did not feel any sort of emotional connect with the lead character or even any of the side characters. The acting is so wooden and downright horrible. Disney, are you okay? I mean, the casting is good with actors looking the part, but was really disappointed with the performances. The costumes did stand out though. The costume designs were excellent and really looked the part. Even the props like swords and shields and some practical effects looked A+. Got no complaints in that department. But you know what kind of bothered me? The CGI. You can tell that they use CGI extensively in this movie. While some effects like the landscapes and some fight scenes look good, a few others didn't quite do it for me. Some CGI effects looked cartoonish and weird. There were scenes that showed the phoenix and looked really bad for some reason. Some effects like the avalanche and explosions also looked way off. I have seen movies with almost half the budget of this movie do CGI better. I mean, come on, this is a big budget Disney movie. Look at The Lion King and now look at this. It's not evident in the trailer, but if you watch the movie, you will know what I'm talking about. CGI is inconsistent and certain shots look fake and laughable. Coming to the verdict, I would give this movie a 5 out of 10. This movie takes itself very seriously and tries to sell its fantasy action adventure formula to a younger audience. But in doing that, the movie falls flat in its execution and storytelling. It tries to set itself to be a big blockbuster with a larger than life scale, but for most part, this movie falls flat to the expectations and doesn't quite live up to the other movies in Disney's stable. Perhaps Disney should take a step back and reconsider the prospects of making a decent and enjoyable live-action movie rather than making it a subpar cash-milking machine. Because this movie feels like it's exactly that, a cash grabber. So is it worth the admission price to watch it on Disney Plus? I'd say not quite. Unless you're very curious and dying to watch it, go ahead by all means. But for all others, wait for it to become free on Disney Plus. Until then, I don't think this movie is worth the extra money to watch on top of your already existing Disney Plus subscription. So what did you think of this review? Let me know in the comment section below. Or if you have already seen this movie, let me know what you thought about it. If you enjoyed watching this review, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. If you want to be notified whenever a new video is up, please hit the notification bell icon to stay notified. That's it for the end of this video. Stay safe and stay awesome, you guys. See you in the next video.